Hey, Grand Ascension. How's everybody doing this Saturday morning? So they tell us. It is supposedly the quote unquote another man made illusion holiday, Labor Day. Funny how the elites give us holidays, supposed to be days of rest. I tell you, when you start to read and understand what's going on, things become a lot more clear to you, and you typically don't partake in the BS. So, you guys know I'm back to do another reading. It's been a minute, it's been a few days, and I have a lot to go over, so I'm just going to get right into it. I am reading from The Return of the Giants from Hollow Earth. Last time I read to you guys, I think I was out in this book. I was out in the patio, and I read to you, I believe, chapters 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to pick up on chapter 6 of this book. But before I do, I want to give a little history for those of you who probably have read this before, and it'll sound very familiar to you. But I just wanted to bring it all home for you because literally there are so many people that are none the wiser. They're still asleep. They have no idea what this world is, what this realm is, who we are, who they are as an individual, and who we are as a collective, as a consciousness. I hate to say species, but I want to read this to you, and then we're going to get right into just flowing into the Return of the Giants. I've got a couple books. First up, I'm going to read to you from the book of Enoch, and I want you to listen to this, all right? Chapter 6, it starts off as, and it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of the heavens, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose wives from among the children. From the children of men beget us children. And Semyaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath and all bind ourselves by mutual implications, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. Oh, wow. Then swear they all together and bound themselves by mutual implications upon it. And they were all, in all, 200 who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon. And they called it Mount Hermon because they had swore and bound themselves by mutual implications. All right. The book of Enoch, one of these versions. All right. We read that. Now, what you don't know, let me take a sip of no, I'm not getting paid for this, but hey, I got to have my mushroom coffee. I've been drinking this stuff for 2 years, y'all. So good. What they don't tell you is why they came down. And I know you've heard me say this before, but I feel like I picked up a couple new subscribers over on YouTube as well as here on Facebook. So I just need to bring some things down to you. What you don't know is why the 200 really came down. Well, they came down and swore a mutual implications, aka an oath. They swore to do this deed, right? But they don't tell you when they came down and why they came down, right? They always were watching. They still watch this day, but it gets even better. All right. For those of you who know, you know. So it says, now I'm reading from the Lost Book of Enki. For it came to pass that soon after Marduk to his father Enki came, a matter of gravity with his father Enki to discuss, he wished. Upon the earth the 3 sons of Enlil spouses are chosen. Ninurta, Baal of Anu, a young daughter, he espoused. Ninnar has chosen Ningal. Ishkar, Shalal has taken. By Nergal, your son Irshnagal of Enlil, a granddaughter, as his spouse was taken. By threats to her, by threats to kill her, her consent from her was extracted. To await my espousal, being your firstborn, Nergal did not await. The other 4 indifference, my espousals, are waiting. A bride I wish to choose. To have a spouse, it is my desire. So did Marduk to his father, Enki, say. Your words make me happy, Enki to Marduk was saying. Your mother, too, shall rejoice. To hold his words to Ninki, Marduk with a raised hand to father motioned. Is the one of your young ones who he'll succor give? Enki went on to ask. A descendant of Adapa she is. Of earth, not Nibiru, is she, Marduk softly whispered. With a puzzled look, Enki was speechless. Then in controlled words he shouted, a prince of Nibiru, a firstborn to succession entitled an earthling will espouse. Now you see where George Lucas got this talk with Yoda in Star Wars, right? Because we actually used to talk this way. Then he says, not an earthling, but your own offspring. To him, Marduk said, a daughter of Inkimi, who to heaven was taken, she is, Serpent her name. To Inki, his mother, Marduk, his heart desire, repeated and said, when Inkimi with me was journeying, and of heaven and earth him I was teaching, what my father once had said, I with my own eyes witnessed. Step by step on this planet, a primitive being, one like us to be, have created. In our image and in our likeness, civilized earthling is except for the long life he is, we give. He is we. A daughter of Inkimi, my fancy caught her to espouse, I wish. Ninki, her son's words pondered, and the maiden, does she gaze appreciate? So did she ask Marduk. Indeed, she does, Marduk to his mother said. This is not the matter to consider. Inki, with a raised voice, said, if our son this shall do to Nibiru with his spouse, he will never go. His princely rights on Nibiru, he forever will forsake. To this, Marduk with a bitter laugh responded, my rights on Nibiru are non-existent. Even on earth, my rights as the firstborn have been trampled. This indeed is my decision from prince a king on earth become the master of this planet. Can I say that one more time? This indeed is my decision from a prince a king on earth become the master of this planet, of this dome. Marduk. Y'all want to know who actually runs this world? His descendants. Just trying to tell you. Let it be, Ninki said. Let it be. Inki also said they summoned Martashal, the bride's brother of Marduk, with they him told. Humbled but joyed, overwhelmed, Martashal was. Let it be, he said. When of the decision Enlil was told, with fury he was seized. It was one thing for the father with earthlings to intercourse have. It is another matter for the son of the earthling to espouse, lordship on her to bestow. When Nimma of the matter was told, greatly disappointed she was. Marduk any maiden of ours could espouse. Even for my own daughters by Inki he could choose. Half sisters, as is the royal custom. He could espouse. So did Nimma say. With fury, Enlil, I can't tell who's joining me. Hey, how you doing? It says, with fury, Enlil to Anu on Nibiru of the master's words beamed up. Too far has the behavior gone. It cannot be allowed to Anu, the king Enlil said. On Nibiru, Anu, the counselor summoned, the matter with urgency discussed. In the rule books of such matter, no rule they found. All right. Anu, the savants also summoned, the matter's consequences to discuss. On Nibiru, Adapa, the maiden's progenitor, could not stay. To Anu, they were saying. Therefore, to return to Nibiru with her, Marduk forever must be barred. Y'all heard that, right? I just read it to you. Marduk could not go back to where he came from, all right? Which is another dome or another world called Nibiru, all right? He's here. This is his planet. I'm just telling you. Oh, but it gets better. Let me keep reading. So he says, indeed, having to earth cycles become a custom, even without her, Marduk's return impossible might be. So were the savants to Anu, saying, with that the counselors to agree. Let the decision to earth be beamed. Anu was saying, Marduk marry can. But on Nibiru, a prince, he shall no more be. The decision by Enki and Marduk was accepted. Enlil too, to the word from Nibiru, bowed. Anu is the esteemed ruler, okay? And then you've got his sons, Enlil and Enki, all right? And all of them have families. So Marduk is Anu's grandson, all right? And so he had to go through the counselors, the savants. They checked the laws, the rules. They could not find where him being a different species could not marry one of us. All right. So he did that. All right. So this is where it gets interesting. Like I was reading from you in the book of Enoch just a few minutes ago. Here's where it comes. All right. So when the decision by Enki and Marduk was accepted, Enlil too, to the word from Nibiru bowed. Let there be a wedding celebration in Eridu. Let it be. Ninki to them said, in the Eden, Marduk and his bride cannot stay. Enlil, the commander, announced, let us to Marduk and his bride a wedding gift make, a domain of their own away from Eden in another land. So did Enki to Enlil say, of Marduk being sent away, Enlil with consent to himself was thinking, to what land, of what domain are you speaking, Enlil, to his brother Enki said, a domain above the Abzu. The Abzu is the mines where they were mining for gold and diamonds and stuff like that. And you could go on Google Earth right now, put it in, and you'll be able to look at it. This ain't no conspiracy, baby. This is history. The stuff you was really not told. All right. That's the Absu. Okay. That's what that is. Those are mines when they were mining, when they were coming down from the different locations that they were. And they took the minerals and the resources back to where they were going, all right, to their home planet. So, it is what it is. So he said, a domain above the Abzu in the land the upper sea reaches, one that by the waters from the Eden is separated, that by ships can be reached, by airships, all right? So did Enki to Enlil say, let it be, Enlil said, in Eridu a wedding celebration, Ninki for Marduk and Sapant arranged. Ninki arranged the wedding. She did this big whole celebration for Marduk and Sapant. Marduk is not human. All right. He is not. He is, let me just put it this way. Let's just call him an Anunnaki from those who heaven came. All right. That's what they want to say. That's what they say. All right. When I'm reading, I've read that he was reptilian, but I mean, there's different books out there that'll tell you different, they give you different breakdowns and opinions by these different scholars. I'm just going to tell you, he is not human. All right. His wife that he married is. All right. So it says, her people by the sound of a copper drum, the ceremony announced, with 7 tambourines, her sisters, the brides to her spouse presented. A great multitude of civilized earthlings in Eridu assembled. Like a coronation to them, the wedding was. Young Anunnaki also attended. Young Anunnaki, all right, attended. The Agigi from Lamu in great numbers came to celebrate our leader's wedding. Of Nibiru and Earth, a union to witness we came. So, they had a bunch of people coming because they had to see this shit. Like, yeah, he did take him an Earth bride. He sure in the hell did. He had choice of other women, but he said, hell to the no. I'm just trying to tell you. Oh, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall. I wish I could have been, I've lived a long time. I've lived many lives. We ain't even go there right now. But I would just have loved to have been there to see this shit. I'm just trying to tell you. So the Igigi came in large numbers, all right? There's where you got the setup. They swore on earth on Mount Hermon, right? They were already looking. They already had picked out pretty much who they wanted to snatch up. These women, out there probably butt ass naked, bathing, and they're just watching, because they have the technology to watch. They had the technology back then, and they got it now, even better now. They can watch your ass, and you not even be the wiser. They'll be standing right beside you, you wouldn't even know it. They come through walls. I'm just telling you. I know how that sounds, but y'all been conditioned. Y'all been conditioned by that black box hanging on the wall, man. Y'all got to wake up. So the setup was they did the oath. Now everybody's coming for the wedding. And you know what's going to pop up. Here it is. Now this is an account of how the Igigi, the daughters of the Earthlings, abducted, and how afflictions followed, and Ziadra Adi was born. In a great number did the Igigi from Lamu to earth come. Ziadra is Atrahasis, is Noah, is Untapishti. He's known by many different names. The same person, same being, just 4 different names, all right? Depending on what time frame and what part of the so-called dome you were in when the story came about, all right? So it says they came in great numbers, the Igigi from Lemur to earth come. Only 1/3 of them on Lemur stayed. To the earth came 200. 200. Y'all heard me now. 200. The Igigi. They had to come and see this wedding. Hey, how you doing? They had to come and see this wedding. Their leader, Marduk, was getting married to an earthling. Bet she was a big booty girl. Beautiful, probably. Beautiful. Beautiful. And he couldn't help himself. He had to, right? He just couldn't do it. He couldn't marry his own kind. He wanted to be different. So it says, to be with the leader Marduk, his wedding celebration to attend was their explanation. Unbeknownst to Enki and Enlil was their secret. To abduct and to conjugate was their plot. Unbeknownst to the leaders on earth, a multitude of the Igigi on Lamu got together. What to Marduk permit is from us to should not be deprived. To each other they say. All right, so they talking back and forth in the barracks, wherever they are, they working and stuff like that. And they're like, no, he can do this shit. We can too, right? So it says, enough of suffering and loneliness of my offspring. Even having was their slogan. During these comings and their goings between Lamu and earth, the daughters of the earthlings, the Apodite females, as them they called, they saw, and after them they lusted. They lusted. And to each of the others, they plotters, they said, come, let us choose wives from among the Apodite females, and children beget. One among them, Shimyaz, his name was, their leader became. Even if none of you agree, I alone the deed shall do. To the others he said, if a penalty for this sin shall be imposed, let me say that one more time. If a penalty for this sin shall be imposed, I alone for all of you shall bear it. One by one, others in the plot joined together. By an oath together to do it, they swore. By the time of Marduk's wedding, 200 of them on the landing place descended upon the great platform in the Cedar Mountains. They came down, from there to Eridu, they journeyed among the toiling earthlings they passed. So when you see some of those pyramids that are flat on top, you see the ones that are pointed. They used to have the gold capstones. They were white and they had gold capstones on them at one point. Those are the power plants, energy generators, right? All right. And then you have the ones that are like stair steps up and they're flat at the top. That's where they landed. Those are their platforms for the airships. Okay. And you could go out there and search online and you could see some of them. You'll be able to tell which ones I'm talking about. But it says they came upon the great platform of the Cedar Mountains and they came down from there to Eridu. They journeyed among the toiling earthlings they passed. Together with the earthling throne in Eridu, they arrived. After the wedding ceremony of Marduk and Serpent had taken place, I bet it was beautiful, by signal prearranged by Shimyaza to the others, a sign gave. I guess he just kind of motioned like my husband used to do when we take our kids camping. I didn't go. I'm not an outdoor person. He would take the boys and, family reunions, and there's all 5 of them when they were little. He would do this hand sign like this, And no matter where they were, they saw the hand sign, they knew it was time to go. Same shit with Shimshaz. So it says, once he did that, wow. By a signal, prearranged Shimshaz, the other sign gave. An earthling maiden, each one of the Igigi, 200 of them, right? Seized. By force, they abducted. Okay, these women had no idea they were going to get snatched up that day. None. To the landing place in the Cedar Mountains, the Igigi with the females went. Into a stronghold, the place they made. To the leaders, a challenge they issued. Enough of deprivation and not having offspring. The Adapodite daughters to marry, we wish. Your blessing to this you must give. Else by fire all the earth will be destroyed. We will destroy it. Alarmed, the leaders were of Marduk, the Igigi commander, charged to take, they demanded. If the matter I solution must seek with the Igigi, my heart is agreement is. All right. So did Marduk to the others say, what I have done from them cannot be deprived. All right. You know, he going to side with his men. He going to side with the 200. They just came down for his wedding. What the hell can he say? Let him have them. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they just following suit. They see this shit, hey, he can do it, we can too. So it says, Enki and Nimrod, their heads shook with the begrudging agreement they voiced. Only Enlil was enraged without pacification. One evil deed by another has been followed. Fornication from Enki and Marduk, the Igigi have adopted. Our pride and sacred mission to the winds have been abandoned by our own hands. This planet with earthling multitudes will be overrun. Yeah, I think it's about what, 8.2 billion of us now? That's what they tell us. But you know, since the last reset, we had a bunch of clones, Cabbage Patch Babies, people who look like humans, but they're really human. They're Sims, S-I-M-S, Sims, not real clones. But I digress. So then it says, with much disgust was Enlil speaking, let the Igigi and their females from earth depart. On Lamu, conditions unbearable have become. Surviving is not possible. So did Marduk to Enlil and Enki say, in the Eden, they cannot remain. Oh no, they can't stay here. Nope. Enlil with anger shouted. With much disgust, the gathering he left. He was pissed off. He left the wedding mad. In his heart, things against Marduk and his earthlings was Enlil plotting. And I'm not even going to read the rest of the destruction because that comes with the flood of Noah. All right. And Enki is Noah's biological father. All right. I'm just going to tell you. That's why he saved him, because he's a demigod. That's why he lived for a long period of time. All right. Let's get into chapter 6. Whew, I just had to throw that out there because I woke up this morning and said, hey, you know what? Let's read about these. Yeah, I love reading about that because it just goes to show you that these beings, we are them and truly. I mean, seriously, they have affected us more ways than one. Like I wouldn't be wearing jewelry. I don't have any makeup on right now, but I wouldn't be putting a hair dye in my hair all those years and jewelry and makeup. It wasn't for the watchers. It wasn't for them who came down. I'm trying to tell you. They say, oh, they corrupted mankind. They did this, and this. What do they say? The victor always writes the story and tells the history. It's his story, right? There's always two sides to some shit. I'm just telling you. Actually, there's 3. If you really want to know the truth. But I digress. Let's get into chapter 6 from the Giants, all right? It's called The Paths Beneath the Surface. So we know Claudio is taking his trip to the hollow earth, and he's going down there to see the other civilizations within our Earth Dome, all right? Not on the surface where we're at, but not beyond the ice walls, because he's already done that. This is in the hollow earth. So it says, it was then that what I feared most happened. After the first lines, I couldn't stop. The text continued as follows. We descended to the depths I didn't even know could exist. We passed through several levels and everything was very strange. There was so much silence, it was almost deafening. My ears kept popping and I tried to focus on the path more than on what was happening to my body, though a lot was happening inside me as well, including a sickening sense of nausea and dizziness. There's a moment somewhere else, somewhere between the surface and the underworld, when everything you've learned starts to sound like a foreign language. Thoughts don't connect the same way. They hang there floating as if some kind of signal link was being lost in the deep. Okay. The tunnels we traveled could never have been the work of modern engineering. They had none of the marks or patterns of a human dig with present day machines. These routes were very organic, ancient, open with technology I'd never seen, without the brutality of explosives that are usually used, nor the telltale fractures of current machinery that cracks the ground and leaves obvious scars. They look sculpted with precision, surgical precision, by something that seemed to open matter from within. We're on Tartarian routes, my companion said. Many of them were sealed after the last reset, which was in the 1700s, 1728. And, they added 1,000 years, so it's actually 728. And this is not 2025, it's actually 1025. So you're looking at about 300 years, roughly, 350 years ago. All right. So it says, but still some remain. So we'll use the ones that haven't been contaminated. Along the way, we found inscriptions carved into the walls, letters that reminded me of what I once saw as Sanskrit, but with patterns far too complex to reproduce here by example. The symbols even seemed to move and dance on the sealed wall itself. They didn't look chiseled, and they gave off a blue light. We passed through chambers as large as cathedrals, where I saw structures suspended without any anchors, or at least I couldn't find any around them, as if they were floating. A sound could be heard in the distance. I couldn't quite describe it. It was like a soft melody. Down there, time flows in a very strange way. You can feel it as the air, almost on something tangible, I suppose because of the dense atmosphere. You can walk 10 minutes and feel hours have passed, or lose yourself in a passage for a second that turns into an eternity. It's very odd because there's no real reference, and yet all of it can be sensed. Life itself seems to pause there. It's another kind of reality. I saw beings working. I had no idea what they were doing. They were human like you and I, but with seriousness in their gaze rarely seen on the surface. People very busy, but not hurried. Clearly, they weren't there for money or duty. Were they in hiding? I wondered. At the same time, my own inner voice had a strange echo that bade me lose myself, chasing answers. Were they resting down there in some way? Some said they were descendants of the pre-resets. Others were humans from my same cycle after the year 1728 who had awakened, as my guide called it. They were also human giants, several who stood more than a body taller than the rest, much taller than an ordinary man, strongly hewn features, rough skin, and a strength you could sense even when they were still. Their bodies were so carved and robust. They seemed made of very wood around us. They didn't speak, nor did it seem they needed to. I think they too followed the same rule I'd been given, the most basic of all. Speak as little as possible. Don't turn on devices. Even the faintest emissions could be detected by custodian radar and the Anunnaki tech. Some of the devices used by the custodians can read thermal changes, your brain waves, even your frequencies of the human body. Yeah, they have that stuff. That's why, and I'm not here to debate with anybody, but I'm just telling you, the things I read and share with you guys, you got to do your research. But I'm going to tell you, if you've been following my page and you guys do your own research, y'all have the ears to hear and the eyes to see. 5G is a military grade weapon. We don't need 5G. Okay, they're working on 10G right now. They're pumping these signals up. And if you can look on a map, and I said I was going to do a live stream over that, you can look on a map where they're actually turning the signals up across the US and people are cooking literally from the inside. Microwave technology. It's not a conspiracy. There are patents out there on that shit. People have talked about it for years now. They've been talking about it. And, no one's just, everybody's functioning along. No one's the wiser. People still put their cell phones in their pockets, in their back pockets. People still sleep with their cell phones beside them. I have a Faraday bag that I put my cell phone in when I remember. It's on the floor down below by the bed. It's in a bag. But I'm simply saying, I mean, that's still too close. Even with a Faraday bag, I'm still getting some kind of interference from it, some readings from it. My point is that frequencies play a factor in everything. Okay, that's why they have those devices where they can scan your temperature. That affects your pineal gland. That affects your body. Anything we do now has been weaponized against us, you guys. You just got to understand that. These custodians are serious about the shit. They've been plotting this stuff and formulating this plan for a very, very long time. And you all need to know this stuff. So it says, some of the devices used by the custodians can read thermal changes, brain waves, even frequencies of the human body. They're highly complex tools that are also deployed in the modern bases of Antarctica Circle, and in the oceans, capable of triggering earthquakes, tsunamis, the moment they register movement. Any intense emotion could also be a threat. That explains the group's grave composure. We reached a sharp fork, a root tunnel, OD2 depth. A guard stepped out from the bark and stopped us with his hand raised. He was a man, though his face bore marks I took to be from the exposure to the surface sun. He told us movements had been detected in the deeper levels, movements that didn't match anything human. Could be Polarians, who whispered. We've seen them emerge before. It's always the same. They smell like rotten metal and leave scorch marks on walls. Sadly, wherever we spot these traces, we're never wrong. I didn't dare ask about more. And I think I've read this part to you, but I'm rereading it. But I knew somehow what it meant. I'd read it in the reports my guide had given me earlier. There were folks here they call the Polarian worm, soft-bodied beings, forms twisted by radiation, born or altered through a mix of genetics and metalloids, stinking of decay. I had long ago read a case in which humans found their nests and a great battle broke out until the custodians intervened. Their specialty is sabotage from within. When they surface, they do it with extreme violence and leave few survivors. They've attacked human underground bases and annihilated everything they moved. And they destroyed the bases themselves. Deaths rarely present with the visible wounds, but rather massive internal burns. The bodies are left switched off as if their energy had been drained, as if the soul had been torn out. Many insist they're a hybrid creation of the Draco Edamins and the custodians. Others say they're an ancient species trapped beneath the lowest level of the physical world, released after human errors in underground military bases. My guide didn't explain further, so we moved on. The most unsettling moment came when we reached a junction where a tree rose, the world tree, a complete tree, many meters below ground. Its roots pierced living rock. It seemed to emit its own light, illuminating all branches, paths around it. They glow around to cut off a fixed point as if it reached only so far, then vanished. It was life that needed no surface sun. This is what they don't want you to know. My guide told me everything. There's a living world within the dead world they designed for us. There's a living world within the dead world they designed for us. Let that sink in. And in that moment, I think I understood something. What's seen on the surface is just a small set piece, and we act as unwittingly actors. What repeats up there is only programming. Down here, another kind of reality seems to emerge, even if surrounded by darkness. We exchange no more words. The journey was far from over. I had barely seen anything yet. And I think I showed you guys this picture before, but I'm going to hold it up again. I'm telling you, Star Wars was a documentary. It was a documentary. Y'all hear me? A documentary. All right. All right. We're going to get into chapter 7 and then we're going to call it. All right. The first underground city. We moved again, this time for several hours, or it seemed, yet I didn't feel tired. The air grew even denser, though it stretched, a colder current flowed. It was also heavy with dampness that seemed to seep with the walls themselves. The silence was abruptly broken by a clack of metal then the faint drip of water in the distance. Then I felt something moving slowly beneath us like a train or subway passing, making the ground hum ever so slightly. At last, we reached a wide corridor with fully sealed with of uplift gates marked with a white symbol. The gates opened and two men stepped out almost in unison. Without a word, they waved us through. Hurriedly, on the other side, I found a place that felt like another city nor a military base. It was a hybrid of both, neatly divided into sections or sectors. A core region built inside a colossal cavern. The natural walls blend with metal structures, platforms rising and descending with beings inside them, very tall towers and suspended corridors that seemed to float. Everything was linked by very narrow tunnels with walls crowded with cables and lit by artificial lamps. It looked like a maze. I paused, realizing that if I lost my guide a moment, I could wander for years trying to find an exit among all these crossing and tunnels and strange passageways. Every staircase was a shortcut, every gate a border between what they allowed to see and what was permitted. Eventually, a man met us. He was very thin with a long, narrow, reddened eyes, okay? As if he hadn't slept in days, or as if heavy work down here was slowly draining him. He didn't introduce himself. He only motioned for me to follow. Hey, can't tell who's joining. Hey, big brother, Chief Red Wolf, how you doing? Bill looking good. Looking good. Doing a great job. All right. So it says, we walk between rows of stacked crates, many colors, materials, and storage tanks marked with inscriptions in languages I couldn't decipher. People don't ask much here, he said quietly as he walked, in a very odd accent. Every unnecessary word puts everyone at risk. I looked around at the people near us. Some were dirty, ordinary surface clothes. Others wore dark tunics, orange ones or very light colored ones. Everyone looked tense and worried. No one spoke loudly. You tired? I know that's right. Doing a good job though. Least of all, they laughed. Least of all, no one laughed. It was as if everyone knew that they were alive here, but the line between life and death was so thin it demanded a massive sepulchral silence. Okay. Who lives here? I asked in a low voice. The man stopped and stared as if weighing whether I deserved an answer or should wait longer. Refugees, ancestrals who managed to escape before the reset. Persecuted humans. Some don't even know why they're here, but they knew the moment they arrived and decided to help. Others don't want to see the sun again for 1,000 different reasons. Many simply have nowhere else to go. Do you understand? Why don't they go further away, somewhere else on the surface? Because there is no farther away in this world. No farther in these regions? The dome covers everything, and every route is watched. I'm going to say that one more time. The dome covers everything, and every route is watched. He fell silent a moment, then continued. And because down here, dark as it is, there are still places where the dome and its walls can't interfere with thought using the filthy frequency. And it says, I didn't interrupt. He led me to a raised area as he ascended, as we could see, okay, the spread of impoverished dwellings. Though further off, other things seemed far advanced. Small metal seals lit by pale lamps. A thin bluish mist drifted between the platforms, the product of some ventilation system, or so I imagined. I saw people moving slowly. Others watched me, a little suspiciously, understandably, so none of them seemed interested in striking up a conversation. Another sector caught my attention, completely isolated, still behind double steel doors and standing out from the otherwise dark gray surroundings. A few guards stood in front of it. 2 men and a woman were there, speaking among themselves. My guide noticed how fixated I was staring. Don't ask about the place, not yet. My guide said, anticipating my thought, what's behind it? I couldn't help asking anyway. People who must not be seen. People who would be in greater danger if anyone knew they were here. I fell silent, thinking, why Who could be there voluntarily in a kind of cell, meters and meters beneath the surface? Are they human? I asked. The man breathed in and with little desire to answer, most of them, yes. But I think even they don't truly know what they are, and they're here to be reborn. We didn't remain long on that platform. They explained this place wasn't safe for extended periods. It was a transit point, a bridge between several core regions, and apparently a temporary zone, though advanced enough for a such role. The custodians, though, they couldn't pinpoint it precisely, kept their networks always active. Vibrations from large groups of people created spikes that could be detected if they lingered too long in one spot. Life down here is very complex. A messenger arrived at a run. He murmured something to my guide. My guide looked at me with urgency and hint of fear, and he said, "We have to move now." "Where?" I asked, a little scared. "To the last city we'll visit. Someone will be waiting for you." I didn't need to ask who. I knew instantly the Anakin, the giant I had been waiting to see or waiting to meet. As he prepared to depart, I took one last look at the people of the city. Few children were playing very seriously in complete silence with small metal pieces in their hands. A woman sat alone in a corner, her gaze fixed on the void as if she couldn't return from something she had seen, and for some reason her time had stopped forever there. And I thought of you, the one reading this. If you could see this place, you would understand why the surface is designed to distract you, why life up there is a routine repeated to exhaustion. Because if you ever learn what happened down here, I'm certain nothing in your everyday life would remain the same. All right. And that was chapter 6 and 7. And we're reading from the Giants of Hollow Earth. Claudio, okay, Claudio Nicelli, Nos Confundren, Terra Infinita, the trilogy, the series. He's probably got about 12 to, I don't know, 12 to 13 books, maybe, you guys, by now. I don't know how long I've been on here, but, I wanted to close out with just reading one more thing. So let me recap, okay, for anybody who sees this video later on and comes in at the end. Enoch, I read from you the book of Enoch, chapter 6. I read from you the Lost Book of Inky. And I forget what tablet this is. Let me see if I can tell you, for those of you who might want to know. Tablet 9. All right. Lost Book of Inky. Inky and Enoch. All right. And then I read to you Hollow Earth. And now I'm going to close out with the Emerald Tablets of Thoth Hermes. All right. This part is called Spaceborne. All right. As you heard me read in the last part of this chapter, right? And when I upload this video over here on Facebook and on YouTube, for those of you who want to listen later on, I was reading again from chapter 6 and 7, all right? And at the very end of the 7, he says, if you could see this place, you would understand why the surface is designed to distract you, why life up there is a routine repeated to exhaustion. Because if you ever learn what happens down here, I'm certain nothing in your everyday life would remain the same. Spaceborne. Least ye, O man, to the voice of wisdom, least to the voice of Thoth the Atlantean. Freely I give to thee of my wisdom, gathered from the time and space of the cycle, master of mysteries, son of the morning, living forever, a child of the light, shining with brightness, star of the morning, Thoth the teacher of men is all. Long time ago, I in my childhood lay neath the stars on long buried Atlantis, dreaming of mysteries far above men. Then in my heart grew there a great longing to conquer the pathway that led to the stars. Year after year, I sought after wisdom, seeking new knowledge, following the way, until at least my soul in great travail broke from its bondage and bonded away. Free was I from the bondage of earthmen, free from the body. I flashed through the night. Unlocked at last for me was the space star, or the star space. Free was I from the bondage of night. Now to the end of space sought I wisdom, far beyond knowledge of infinite man or finite man. Far into space, my soul traveled freely into infinity's circle of light. Strange beyond knowledge were some of the planets, great and gigantic beyond dreams of men, yet found I law in all of its beauty, working through and among them, and here among men. Flash forth my soul through infinity's beauty. Far through grace I flew with my thoughts. Rested I there on a planet of beauty. Strain of harmony filled all the air. Shapes there were, moving in order, great and majestic as stars in the night, mounting in harmony, ordered equilibrium, symbols of the cosmic like unto law. Many the stars I passed in my journey, many the races of men on their worlds, some reaching high, a star of the morning, some falling low in the blackness of night. Hang on. Each and all of them struggling upward, gaining the heights and plumbing the depths, moving at times in realms of brightness, living through darkness and gaining the light. Know, O man, the light is thine heritage. Know, O man, the light is thine heritage. Know, O man, the light is thine heritage. Know the darkness is only a veil. Sealed in thy heart is brightness eternal, waiting the moment of freedom to conquer, waiting to rend the veil of the night. Some I found who have conquered the ether. Some I found who conquered the ether. Free of space were they while yet they were men. Using the force that is the foundation of all things, far in space constructed they a planet, drawn by the force that flows through all, condensing, coalescing the ether into forms they grew, they willed. Outstripping in science, they all of the races, mighty in wisdom, sons of the stars. Long time I paused, watching their wisdom, saw them create from out of the ether cities, gigantic of rose and gold, formed forth from the primal element, base of all matter, the ether far flung. Far in the past, they had conquered the ether, freed themselves from the bondage of toil, formed in their mind only a picture, and swiftly created it, it grew. Forth then my soul sped throughout the cosmos, seeing ever new things and old, learning that man is truly spaceborn, a son of sun, a child of the stars. O ye, O man, whatever from ye inhabit, surely it is one with the stars. Thy bodies are nothing but planets revolving around the central suns. When ye have gained the light of all wisdom, free shall ye be to shine in the ether. One of the suns that light out of darkness, one of the spaceborn grown into light. Just as the stars in time lose their brilliance, light passing from them into the great source. So, O man, thy soul passes onward, leaving behind the darkness of night. Formed for ye from the primal ether, filled with the brilliance that flows from the source, bound by the ether, coalesced around, yet ever it flames until at last it is free. Lift up your flame from out of darkness, fly from the night, and ye shall be free. Traveled I through space-time, knowing my soul is at last was set free, knowing that now might I pursue wisdom, until at last I passed to a plane, hidden from knowledge, known not to wisdom, extension beyond all that we know. Now, O man, when I had this knowing, happy my soul grew, for now I was free. Listen, ye spaceborn, list to my wisdom. Know ye not ye too will be free? Leash ye again, O man, to be wisdom, that hearing ye too might live and be free. Not of the earth are you earthy, but child of the infinite cosmic light. We are all children of light. We are all sentient beings. Know ye not, O man, of your heritage? Know ye not ye are truly light? Son of the great sun, yet when ye gain wisdom, truly aware of your kinship with light. No, now to ye I give knowledge, freedom to walk in the path I have trod, showing you truly how by my striving I trod the path that leads to the stars. Hark ye, O man, and know of the bondage. Know how to free thyself from the toils. Out of the darkness shall ye rise upward, one with the light and one with the stars. Follow ye ever the path of wisdom. Only by you can you raise from below. Ever man's destiny leads him onward into the curves of infinity's all. Know ye, O man, that all space is ordered. Only by order are ye one with the all. Order and balance are the law of the cosmos. Follow, and ye shall be one with all. He who would follow the pathway of wisdom, open must be to the flower of life, extending its consciousness out of the darkness, flowing through time and space in all. And I hope this read has been beneficial to you all. Again, I appreciate you guys taking the time out to listen to me read. We've read from the Book of Enoch, the Lost Book of Enki. We've also read Claudio Nicelli's latest book, The Giants of Hollow Earth, from Nos Confundren. And then I read a portion of the Emerald Tablets from Thoth Hermes Spaceborne. As I like to say in closing, we're out of time. We need to do this. We need to ascend. We need to be better than we were the day before, right? And we need to be the change that we want to see all around the stone. If you know, like I know, we're out of time and we really got to focus on going within. We've got to focus on pulling away from the things that we normally do in living the type of life that we've been living, right? A righteous life is a good life, but it is a hard life. And, you know, I'm just here to share some information with you guys. I find it fascinating. I love to read. Shout out to Chief Red Wolf, Jamil Shamsi Dean, Original Lone Wolf, Drop 432, Camiro, Navi Poet. I mean, the list goes on of people that I share or reshare their content. Richie from Boston. You know, there's some very talented people out there, people that are waking up, people that understand what this is and what we're facing. So again, I want to leave it on a positive note. I appreciate you all taking the time this Saturday morning to listen to me and to give a different perspective on things. And I will be back to do another reading sometime over the weekend. We're going to get into Tesla and the Cabbage Patch Kids and then the Cabbage Patch Babies. I'm going to go into detail and show some pictures and talk to you about some things. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. And remember what I always say. You got to be the change you want to see because it's up to you and I to make that change. I'll talk to you guys soon.